Hey y'all, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Let me go ahead and real quick tweet out the link. Also, I'm a little bit sick, so if the voice sounds off, that's what's happening. I feel like I've been nonstop getting sick recently. Also, allergies just destroy me. I feel like every time the temperature changes like somewhat significantly, so I'm kind of going through that. Also had a bit of an ER emergency room incident a little bit earlier that I won't get into right now. But yeah, we're still here. We're still here. Going to do this stream. Let me go ahead and tweet out this link. Emery, I hope I pronounced that correctly. What's good? What's good? Let's see. Link. How do I just not have it ready? Okay, and put that on there. Live now. Come help me predict the NBA season. Okay, let's do that. So, what are we doing today? I'm asking for y'all's help a little bit. I'm dropping my full NBA season predictions tomorrow. I have not recorded the video. I think I'm in a good spot where I kind of like my predictions, but I want some of your help. And I also want y'all's help with making something specifically that you guys are going to have a big part in. But yeah, right now you can go ahead and let me know any of your hot takes. We'll start off with that in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and show y'all where I'm at with like my standings and my awards and things like that. Omer Yurt 7, most improved birdie. I wish. Killian Hayes and Cam Thomas backcourt's about to be fire, like fire burning down a house. Exactly. Wow. Noah, what's good? What's good? Carlo, I'm doing well. Birdie, what's good? I'm doing well. Okay, just went ahead and dropped the tweet. But yeah, so like I said, my predictions video is coming out tomorrow. Hopefully it should be. But I want y'all's opinions on some of the predictions that I've made. This will probably be like an hour-ish long stream. Just to kind of get some of y'all's thoughts. It's a weird season. It's a hard one to predict. I feel like a lot of it is very up in the air. There's a lot of teams that have extremely wide ranges, I feel like, of where they could finish in the standings, specifically depending on health over in the Western Conference. There is a million combinations I've seen of every single team out in the West, so I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts. Mr. Awesome saying, West standings: 1 OKC, 2 Dallas, 3 Timberwolves, 4 Denver, 5 Pelicans, 6 Kings, 7 Lakers, 8 Memphis, 9 Suns, 10 Rockets, 11 Warriors. You can see the rest. Clippers at 13. I mean, and a Thunder getting Cooper Flag would be pretty cool. What do I think of Joel Embiid never playing back-to-backs? I think it makes sense. It sucks because he's like never going to get an award again because they have 15 back-to-backs this year, which puts him at 67 games played if he plays every single other game, and he's going to miss some time here and there. So Embiid's not going to be on any of the awards, I would imagine, this season. Bucks end up as a top 2 seed in the East. Stealthy Fox, I could see it. Heat 2025 NBA champions. T-Dots, I can't lie. I'm not really buying into that, but I mean, I appreciate you riding for your team. But yeah, so the things we're going to do, first thing is I'm going to show you where my standings and awards are at right now. This is subject to change before tomorrow's video, so just keep that in mind. And then I'm doing a partnership this season with Underdog Fantasy. It's not going to be all over the place, just a few things here and there. And I want to make like a season-long slip that I have an idea of what I want to do for that. I want to try and get something that's actually going to win. And so I want y'all's help picking that Pods MVP. Denver, please leave the stream. Shout out my guy. Check out his channel, by the way. Great content over there, even though he's delusional. Ain't better than Shay, no cap. Completely disagree, but it's okay. We can agree to disagree. Okay, so here, let's go ahead. Let's look at the standings. So here's what I have as the standings right now. Let's see. Sharing this tab. Okay, I think this should be the right tab. Here we go. So here are the standings that I have right now. This is where I'm thinking, except for one thing. The Grizzlies, I am not confident at all having here at 5. I don't feel confident whatsoever with the Grizzlies at 5. I have thought about putting them higher. I've thought about putting them much lower. I'm not really sure. But this right now is where my Western Conference standings are at. And let me zoom out a little bit so you can see my East standings as well. Nope, that's way too zoomed. Okay, there's no way I can fit it all. So let's just do West first. These are my standings as I currently have them. In what order is New York over Boston, Philly? CJ, we will get to that. I promise. We will get to that. Okay, I've seen too many people coming on the Eastern Conference stuff. Let's start West. I didn't mean to show the East stuff that early. Let's talk West first. Why Nuggets over Wolves and Dallas? Nuggets at 2 is crazy. Okay, here's my thing with the Nuggets. They have Jokic. And I think they're going to regress. I don't think they're going to be as good this season. But in terms of regular season wins, I just feel like Jokic takes any team to right around 50-ish wins. The Mavericks, I don't know how serious they're going to take it. I've thought about moving the Mavericks up to 2 and putting the Timberwolves up at 3 and the Nuggets down to 4. I've also thought about the Nuggets at 3, Wolves staying at 4. It seems like a lot of y'all think the Nuggets are a little bit too high. I can see that. It's just hard for me to see a team led by Nikola Jokic not being like a top 3 seed at the least. The JJ Redick disrespect. I just don't know. LeBron and AD were so healthy last season, and I just don't know if I can quite get there on them both playing like 70-plus games again. I think they're going to be better when they're on the court. I just don't know how often we see LeBron and AD out there, to be honest, which worries me a little bit. Warriors too low? I don't know, man. There's one team, the Warriors, I'm kind of out on. I think I'm just out on them at this point. Buddy Hield has some like amazing moments and then is bad. There's a lot of young players that could take jumps, but I feel like the roster construction is a bit clunky. I feel like they're just going to have a lot on Steph's shoulders, and he's going to be amazing like he always is. But I just don't know if he's going to have enough to get them past. Like the Rockets are really deep. The Clippers, I worry about their health a lot. But it's one of those teams where if Kawhi and Harden are out there, they're probably going to be decent at least. I don't think they'll be very good, but they'll be solid. The Pelicans, I don't know about their health. I feel like the talent's great. Also, I hate the fact that the Pelicans are going to put Herb Jones at center. I despise that. Warriors are better than last year. They won 46 games. Pepe, that's fair, but the West also just got better. Like the Thunder are better. I think the Mavericks are better. The Grizzlies are going to be worlds better. I think the Suns are better. The Kings, the Lakers, the Pelicans. I think all those teams are better. The Rockets are better. The Spurs are better, you know? And I don't think the Warriors got quite better in the way that some of those other teams did. Rockets greater than Clippers. I think there's an argument for that for sure. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have the Clippers put them here, give the Thunder Cooper flag. If I had my say, that's how this would go. But I do still think Kawhi and Harden are good enough to get you to like around a 10 seed. I don't think they'll be anywhere near the 4 seed they were last season, though. I just don't see it. Taking Pelicans over Kings, Tom. That's something I've thought about. I just have more confidence in the health of the Kings and the Pelicans, I believe. And the Herb Jones center thing, like, this is basically my thought. Like, I think it's insane. It's crazy. What do you think of my predictions, Cone? Josh has Timberwolves, Thunder, Mavericks, Kings. The Kings feel like they could sneaky make it up towards the top. The Nuggets are too high. It seems like that's what most people's thought process is, that the Nuggets are too high. Where would y'all have the Nuggets? Because I do agree they got worse. But in terms of regular season wins, it's like, you know, it's Jokic. When the Nuggets back in 2022 were without Jamal Murray and MPJ for the whole season, they still got 48 wins, I believe. I think it was 48. I'm going to double check the number. Let's see. Yeah, 48 and 34. Like, they still got 48 wins, you know? They're always a top 3-4 seed when they're healthy. They're always up there. I think in the playoffs is really where they feel the KCP drop. I'm going to be honest. I think the Thunder are like, maybe not run away, but they're pretty comfortably the 1 seed. It's a young team that's going to gun for it. Obviously, I'm biased, but I also do think they got a lot better. They've got experience now. They were the 1 seed last year. I think the Thunder pretty comfortably won, and then everything else is pretty interchangeable. Denver, you do bring up the good point that Saric is their backup big, but also they've had like Plumlee and DeAndre Jordan as their backup bigs, you know? One OKC, 2 T-Wolves, 3 Mavericks, 4 Nuggets. I feel like this is the combination that everybody's going with up at the top, except maybe some Grizzlies. I've seen some people put the Suns up there. Some people even putting the Kings up there. Do the East. Okay, this is my East. The East is more unset. I'm going to say that. The West, I feel better about than the Eastern Conference. Do not rip apart the Eastern Conference. This one is subject to change. I think I am going to change this back. I had a thought right before the stream. I was like, what if the Knicks grab the 1 seed? But I think I'm leaning away from it now just because there was the Porzingis injury. And I don't know how, like, the Celtics, I don't feel like we're going to quite gun for the 1 seed like that. And the Knicks felt like they were built for a ton of regular season wins. But the more that I think about it, I think there might be a little bit of a gelling period. So I'm going to leave it at that. Murray's knees, that's fair. You don't think the Mavs are strong enough defensively? I think the Wolves overtake them. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I just feel like I don't know. I think there's going to be a gelling period, a pretty strong one with Julius Randle. Also, teams that I'm believing in, the Hornets and the Raptors. I think both these teams have the chance to. I'm thinking about putting the Hawks outside the play-in. It might be crazy, but I'm considering it. What's up, Unlimited? How you doing? Wizards are greater than Nets. I've switched these two teams back and forth nonstop. I don't know who's going to be the worst team. I think they're both going to have like 15 wins. I think both teams are going to be terrible, which is what they should want. Hawks too high. East is perfect. Holy crap, all-stars and all-NBAs are impossible. Unlimited. It's literally impossible. Embiid's injury, you should put the Sixers at 4 and the Bucks at 3. Maybe. I just feel like with the Sixers, they have more depth. I like Nick Nurse as a coach more than Doc Rivers. And I do feel like as long as Embiid plays like 60-ish games, having PG there, having Tyrese Maxey, I feel like they'll be okay. Yeah, and Embiid did say no back-to-backs. That is fair. They might rest him a good bit, so they might drop down. I just feel like they have a bigger safety net than they did the past few seasons with PG and Maxey. Cavs are not good, and I will stand by that. They're the 8th seed. I think they're really good. Maybe not really good, but they are good. Magic higher. The Magic and the Pacers. Okay, this is the group of teams. I don't know where to put these 3 teams. I don't know where to put them because it feels like all 3 of these teams should be better than where I have them in the standings. Hoops, I appreciate the 2 euros. I believe that's euros. Maxey, George duo and Embiid bench minutes will be good. I'm really high on the Sixers this season when they are healthy. I just don't know how often the healthy thing is going to, go on. Pacers beat the Bucks last year. They did, but the Bucks were a much better regular season team, and they do still have the better top end talent. Plus, the Bucks were injured, so I still think the Pacers could, give the Bucks a fight in the playoffs if this is how the seeding goes. But in terms of regular season, I think I trust the Bucks a bit more to be a higher seed than I do with the Pacers, just because there's Giannis. That's pounds, I think. I'm clearly not well versed in currencies. I see. Could I see the Bucks being a top 3 seed? Yosef, 100%. Like I could see a world where it works out, and it's the Bucks here at 3, Sixers at 4, and Cavs move down. Or I guess Cavs would say that the same there. I could even see the Cavs moving down below the Pacers. I just don't know. Like the Cavs are always right around 50 wins. And is there going to be a 7 seed that wins like 50 games? I mean, it's not impossible. Like last year in the Eastern Conference, the 6 seed was 47 wins. The 6 seed out West was 49 last year. It's definitely not impossible. James, what's good? I appreciate it. And the Magic just having that defense, it feels like they should have a lot of regular season success. I love the addition of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I just don't know enough. I don't feel good enough that their offense is going to be able to match their defense is going to be dominant as always. And another stream, you predicted the Nets is worse in the East. I've gone back and forth. I think the Nets probably will end up being my bottom seed in the Eastern Conference. This is just how I'm feeling at the moment. I think my guy Denver, Double D Worth, said in the chat earlier, saying that talking about Kuzma the other night. Yeah, it was rough. It's been rough for the Wizards this whole preseason. They have not looked good at all. But Bub Carrington, low key, considering Rookie of the Year. I don't think I'm going to go that bold, but I think Jimmy asked for a trade. Matthew, I just don't think it happens till the offseason. I don't see someone like Jimmy getting traded midseason. I do feel good about the Heat at 8, though. I think there's a world where they're a little bit higher, but I just don't feel like they ever take the regular season seriously enough. 4 airballs in 1/2 is crazy. Yeah. Why Raptors over Hornets? Just because, like, I trust their guys to be on the court more, to be honest. LaMelo, I feel like if the Hornets are healthy, I think they could get like a 9 seed. I'm high on the Hornets, but LaMelo's always hurt. Mark Williams is hurt coming into the season. I haven't seen enough of them healthy to feel comfortable in putting them higher. Pacers Sixers would be cinema. It would be cinema. And Trey 6 Man of the Year, I'm here. I'm here for that, Matt. Ant 8 threes last night. Yeah, if Ant takes that 3-point shooting jump, that's going to be big. So those are my standings. This is where I have my awards right now. The awards I feel like aren't that interesting this year. I feel pretty good about almost all these picks. Shea MVP, I think the Thunder are the 1 seed, and Shea last year was 2nd place. I think he gets back to that. Deep Boy Vic, I feel like they've already engraved his name on the award. I don't even think they're going to consider other people that much. Although I do think Bam Adebayo will maybe get some recognition this year. I could see an argument for Chet getting it, but I think if Shea's going to get MVP, I don't think the Thunder get multiple awards, because I also think Jalen Williams will be an MIP candidate. Luka MVP, I'm seeing from a couple of people. I just think the Thunder are going to be a much better regular season team. I think they get a lot more wins, and that leads to Shea grabbing it. I do think it's between Shea and Luka, though. If I would be somewhat surprised if Shea or Luka aren't winning the MVP. I think Giannis could maybe make a case. I mean, Jokic is always going to be in the conversation, but I think it's between Shea and Luka, to be honest. You could pick either one, and I'm not going to be mad about it. Luka, honestly, is kind of overdue to win an MVP with how great he's been throughout his career. I just don't know if it's this year, because I do think the Thunder are going to have a crazy win total at the end of the regular season. What about Ant if he averages 30? I mean, sure. If he averages 30, sure. Yeah. I have Nick Nurse as Coach of the Year. I think I might change this one. I just saw someone say you should put Joe Mazzulla, Yosef in the chat as Coach of the Year. I might change the Nick Nurse one just because I was a little bit higher on the Sixers, and now the Embiid news has come out, and I feel a little less confident in the Sixers having the win total to get that. I've honestly thought about Michael Malone. Sorry if you say Mike Malone, he gets mad at you. Just because if the Nuggets are still up here in like the 2 seed, then after all the conversation about them dropping off, I think he will get that consideration. If the Wolves are again one of the top seeds, I think Chris Finch could get it. I could see a world where the Suns jump high and Mike Budenholzer gets it, or the Grizzlies if they get up towards the top of the conversation. Tom Thibodeau, I think, honestly, is a pretty interesting candidate as well. So I think the Nick Nurse one is going to change. I think that's what I'm not going to go into my video with for tomorrow. I think that one's going to shift. Coach of the Year is going to be the Kings coach, Mike Brown. I could see the world if they end up as one of the top seeds again. Yeah, Ant King, I could see Tibbs. MIP is a weird award. JG feels like he's improved a lot, but he could be a 2010 guy. That's my thing with Jalen Johnson. He had like a good improvement season last year, but I feel like there's still so much room. Like these were his stats last year, 16 points per game. I think he could very easily get up to 21 points per game and like 10 boards. And if the assists come up a little bit, he's playing good defense. I think there's a real world where Jalen Johnson is an MIP guy and wins it. I was honestly early on this train. I've seen a lot of people now start to talk a little bit more about Jalen Johnson winning MIP. And I was saying this months ago. Maybe other people were too. But as far as I know, I feel like I was a little bit early on that. I'm glad people are seeing it too, because I feel like he's been underrated. Like if I look up most improved player odds, which by the way, I need to show, I'm going to rant real quick. I made a video about this already, so I don't need to rant about this too much. But the fact that like, wait, move this over here. The fact that there's like Wemby as like the favorite to win most improved player is completely ridiculous. We don't need to rant about that anymore. But are you going to do all-stars, all-NBAs, and all defense? I don't think so. It's really hard to predict, and it just opens up so much like debate and discussion. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe. I've had thoughts. If I had to do it like right now, let me do an off the head all NBA. First team will be, I think Shea's going MVP. So Shea, Luka, he's always going to be there. Embiid's not going to play enough games. Of Jokic, of Giannis, and I guess Tatum. Like probably something like this. As my first team, this is way this is way harder to do than I was thinking initially. Let me look at who I think is going to be where. Like Ant will probably be up here. This is hard. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. I'm definitely going to forget people. Like KD, I feel like will probably be up there. Brunson will probably make a lot of sense. Who else is going to be up here? Steph. Yeah, Steph. That's true. Are you going to do playoff predictions? Yes, I will be predicting the playoffs too. You could probably guess who I think is going to win each conference, I would imagine. But can you guess who I think is going to win the finals is another thing. Bam. I'm in on the Bam hype train. I think Bam's going to have a monster season. I'm going to put Ja here as well. And then like LeBron, AD, like maybe Booker. Who else is going to end up on here? They won't put a king on here. They hate the Kings. They won't do it. Like, could Paolo pull it off? Could Like, oh, Halliburton, that's a good one. I just saw in the chat say Halliburton. And honestly, yeah, Wemby. Like, off the top of my head, this 15, a lot of people not talk about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell gets underrated. I could see Donovan Mitchell ending up on year 2, but I feel like they kind of just hate him. Maybe I would put like Mitchell instead of Booker. I don't know. Maybe something like this. This is just off the top of my head. Maxey, I could see it. CJ as well. I could see Maxey. It's hard with 15 and being positionless. It's really difficult. They've made it harder to predict for sure. Who should my coach of the year be? Also, clutch player of the year, I have Luka. Luka feels like he always hits those big shots, and I think they'll be in not a lot of close games, but in enough where Luka can, shine. And he does the most insane things I've ever seen with a basketball. So I think he makes sense to be the clutch player of the year. Zach Edey, I think, is just going to get a ton of opportunity. There is a part of me that's worried he's going to be injured. I've thought about Alex Sarr. I feel like Zachary Risachet could just be a good way to go. I mean, he's the number 1 pick. Sneaky pick Rick Carlisle. I do like that pick. I do like that. Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. I'm not betting on Doc Rivers. I'm sorry. You can do that if you want. I'm not going to bet on Doc Rivers. Taylor Jenkins. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I just don't think I have them high enough in the standings. Benedict Mathurin, MIP. I've seen that from a few people. Ahmad, I saw you say that in the chat. I just don't think if the Grizzlies are the 5 seed, I think they have to be a little bit higher to get coach of the year. I honestly might go Tom Thibodeau. Or you know what? Maybe it is Joe Mazzulla's time to get that recognition. I'm just going to put the names I'm considering right now up here. JJ Redick, maybe. But the Lakers would have to be higher in the standings than I have them in right now. I have them at 8. They'd have to be higher than that if JJ Redick's going to win coach of the year. If they take a big jump, I think JJ Redick definitely gets some love, but I don't think it'll be he's not going to win coach of the year if they're a 7 or 8 seed. It's just not going to happen. Never be Michael Malone. What's up, Cone? Love the pod. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to scroll through real quick. Tell me what you hate the least about, or tell me what you hate the most. Sorry. Tell me what you hate about my standings. Tell me what you hate the most about these predictions so far. What is the worst part? We're going to get to that thing at the bottom in a moment. We're going to get to that. No Maxey All-NBA. Pistons too low. Hornets coming out the East. I mean, Thunder legend Trey Mann getting an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm with it. She only wins over Luka because of team standing, not skill. I mean, I think Luka's the better player, but Shea is not that far off. I think they're both top 5. Breaking the NBA is creating a policy where players are not allowed to use their phone from tip-off to the end of the game. Is that real? It is real. Damn. Interesting. Wonder if that's because of the sports betting stuff. I was actually, funnily enough, I met some of my girlfriend's family for the first time yesterday, and I was talking a little bit about what I do, and someone asked if I do sports betting and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I do it here and there, and I actually explained the whole Jonte Porter thing to them, and they were like, what? They were very, very surprised he would go for that, which same thing with me. I'm surprised he would throw away an NBA career for $1 million and not expect to get caught when someone randomly puts $80,000 on Jonte Porter props. You think they would be smarter than that? I expect that people would notice. Paolo All-NBA, I think that's very possible. It's just hard to fit everybody on. Cavs have an all-star team. I don't know. Love the videos, bro. Hope you get a breakout season this year. Tom, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I appreciate you being in the chat. Appreciate all y'all being here. I know this was kind of last minute. I was going to schedule this a little bit sooner, but then I had to go to the emergency room because something got stuck on my ear or stuck in my ear. We don't need to talk about that. Where do you have the Magic? I have the Magic at 7 right now, and I kind of hate it. I want to put the Magic higher. I just don't know who to move down because I don't think the Sixers are a 7 seed again. I mean, injuries could always put them there. I think these 4 teams, I feel good about them being towards the top 4, but I feel like the Cavs, Pacers, and Magic could all fight for that. Is that why you got one AirPod? That is why I only have one AirPod in, because that ear isn't doing well right now. Cavs should be lower. Swap the Cavs and Magic. But like the Cavs always get like 50 wins. They just always do it. Last year was 48 and they were heavily injured. The season before it was 51 wins. Like when they had in the 2 years they've had Donovan Mitchell, they just always get right around that range, you know? It's hard to say. Do you think Haliburton gets back to his pre-injury self? I think he gets around that. I don't know if he's putting up 27-12 again, but I think he does well. If KP is out, can anyone actually beat the Celtics? I think it's possible, but the Celtics are definitely still the best team in the East. I was one of the people who I didn't understand why people were doubting the Celtics. It felt so obvious that the Celtics were going to win the Eastern Conference. Bucks 5, Magic 4. OKC versus Boston Finals. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. But that's the one I feel like most people are picking. Hot take, it's kind of meaningless what seed you are as long as you make it in. I don't agree, but I don't disagree. I think it matters, but not a lot comparatively to what some people think. Hawks miss the playoffs? Yeah. Hornets higher. Bucks are injured. Let's not forget they had some wing help. They will be top 4 easy. I do. That's the thing. I think the Bucks will be there. And I'm a believer in a Dame bounce back season. I think Dame's gonna have a better season. Should have put the Bucks at 3. I don't feel like the Sixers will be that good. Any chance to make a video for must-have picks in fantasy league? Alex, I don't think I'm going to do that, but I mean, I can let you know who I think are must-haves. Like, if you got a player in mind that you're looking to take, I can let you know my thoughts on him. No one in the West has beaten the Celtics in a 7-game series either. I think there's one team that can pull it off. I think there's one team. But the Celtics are definitely the favorites, in my opinion. I was a big believer in the Celtics all throughout last season, which was crazy to say because they won 64 games. But there were so many people saying like, oh, it's the same old Celtics. They're not actually that good. And they had one of the best net ratings ever. Like, people just weren't watching the Celtics, I don't think. And people buy too much into history and don't look at like the now. People look too much at trends. Like, oh, the Celtics have done this over the past few years, not considering the fact that they added Porzingis, they added Jrue Holiday, Derek White was better. Can I show the West standings? Yeah, I got you. Can I like zoom out enough to like make this work? Here's my full standings. This is where I'm at right now. You can't see the bottom 2 teams, but it doesn't really matter. You're just biased. I'll say respectfully. I am biased, but I think I have an objective view at things for the most part. Of course I'm biased. Everyone's biased. There's no one who is 100% objective. But some of the stuff that I'm saying about my favorite team in the Thunder is what a lot of other people are also saying. So I'm not alone. Are we looking past how easy Boston's run to the finals was? I mean, yeah, teams were injured, but they also were without Kristaps Porzingis. So they had a big injury of their own that nobody really talks about. Westbrook 20-plus points per game? No. And I love Russ, Noah, but no. You really think Denver will finish higher than Dallas? Fresno, I feel like with Dallas, like they'll be fine, but I could see the Klay Thompson thing taking a little bit of time. And I don't know how Najee Marshall's shooting is going to be. PJ Washington is a little bit hit or miss. So I could see some nights where they go colder than you would expect. They're still going to be insane. Don't get me wrong. I think they're up there into the mid-50s in wins. But I just feel like with the Thunder, it's going to be a little bit more, or sorry, not with the Thunder, with the Nuggets. They just have a lot more continuity, I feel like. And with Jokic, they always win 50 games as long as Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are somewhat healthy. I think in the playoffs, I trust the Nuggets more than, or the Mavericks more than the Nuggets. I'll say that. Like, this isn't saying who I think the best teams are in the conference. Just because like the Nuggets finished 2 and the Mavericks finished 3, I would probably pick the Mavericks in the series over the Nuggets. In fact, I would tell you right now, I would pick them. Excuse me. I would pick the Mavericks over the Nuggets in the series. I just feel like the Nuggets, they just have such a high regular season floor. They can rack up regular season wins. I think in the playoffs is really where the KCP loss and the youth that they're now kind of buying into a little bit more bites them. If you think the Nuggets will be lower than the Mavericks, 100% get it. 100% also get it. Like you have the Wolves up there. I just feel like with Jokic and having the best player in the world in Jokic, they're going to be at least a really good regular season team. Playoffs, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah. So that's where my logic is coming from. Toughest matchup for the Thunder in the West. I think it's still the Mavericks. I think it's probably the Mavericks and the Thunder, in my opinion, are probably the two best teams in the West. So if that gives you any idea of what my Western Conference Finals might look like, put some respect on Christian Braun. I like Christian Braun's game a lot. He's just not, he's just not KCP. Not sure how much it will matter in the regular season, but there's a team that has seen consistent playoff success for 4 years and addressed their biggest needs in the offseason. Fair. What does the year look like if the Bucks and Sixers deal with more injury, or what does the East look like? Excuse me. Bucks and Sixers deal with injury. I think it's you just kind of slot them down a few spots. Magic 5 seed. I wouldn't even hate it that much. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. Continue to give me your thoughts and stuff, but I want to ask you all's opinions on something. So I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm going to be doing some stuff here and there this season with Underdog Fantasy. I recently signed on as basketball talent with Snapback Sports, and that's one of the partners there. So we're going to be doing some stuff, and I want you all's help making my season-long entry with Underdog. Basically, I'm just picking over-under on props. That's all I'm doing, and I want your help predict making it because I'm very torn. Right off the bat, these are some of the numbers that they have that I like. Let me just go over to the tab real quick. So basically, I just want your help picking higher or lower on some of these. So if you see a number you like, let me know. I want to pick 5 is my goal, and I want to get this right. I want to win on this. It's just gonna be like $10, win like 100 or something like that. But I want to win on this. So let me give you some of the ones that I'm thinking about right now. And again, if you have any more predictions or thoughts on anything, continue to drop them in the comments. So right off the bat, Shea 30.4 points per game. I feel like it's pretty easy that he can average that. Shea averaged right around this last season. It was 30.1. Also, my internet is lagging a little bit. Hopefully everything's good. But Shea averaged right around this last season, and he was dealing with injury quite a bit. I like this. I see someone saying bronze 3-pointers made per game. I kind of like that too because JJ Redick has been having these guys shoot a ton of threes. Like that's been his thing. Is like, oh, shoot 1 billion threes. So I kind of like the LeBron 3-point made thing. Let me scroll down and give you all the options. So if you see something, let me know. Wemby 24.9 is very interesting for the points per game because I feel like he can accomplish that. Like he's got Chris Paul now. 100% Shea's going to average 30. Yeah, I like that over on Shea quite a bit. That's one of my favorite ones on this list. I also kind of like Luka's assists. At 9.4, I feel like, so for reference, Luka last season averaged, 9.8 assists? Yeah, he averaged 9.8 assists. And with Klay Thompson now in town, I feel like Luka's going to try and get him the ball a ton, I think Luka is going to try and put a bunch of threes on Klay Thompson's plate. So I like Luka at 9.4 assists as well. I think that's very attainable. Honestly, if Luka averaged close to a triple-double, I'm not surprised whatsoever. Like Luka could, last year he was at 34, 9, and 9, or basically 34, 9, and 10. So I like Luka's dimes a lot. That's one thing I like. As a Luka Glazer, Luka points lower. I just don't think I could go lower on a guy like Luka who could score that much. And over 27.5 feels like a lock. It is interesting with Julius Randle. That is one thing I've been looking at. Tatum points under. I don't know. 27 feels attainable for Tatum. Let me look at the rest of them. Like these are the rest of them. I want to keep scrolling down so I can show you all of the options. There's a lot of options to work through. That's everything. Okay. I saw Cam Thomas under 24.5 points per game. Bro is not good enough to ball hog his way into getting that much when teams are actually guarding him. That is interesting. I feel like the Cam Thomas stuff is almost a little bit like the Jordan Poole stuff. I think Cam Thomas is better or is going to have a better season than Jordan Poole did last season, but that is something I'm considering. What is chat blocks? I don't know if chat blocks is listed, to be honest. I don't think that's up here. I don't think there's a lot of block props available. What's the Trae Young line? Trae Young's at 27.8 points per game, 10.5 dimes, and 3.1 threes. That's what Trae Young is at. Also, if you do, so basically, I want us to kind of get an idea of this, and I'm going to include this in my season predictions video tomorrow. And I'm going to mention this too. You can, if you want to, go ahead and sign up for Underdog using code CONE, and you get a 50% deposit match on your first deposit. Obviously, no pressure or anything like that, but this is the code. I should have made this overlay smaller. This is way too big. I've not gotten down making the overlays, but just letting you know if this is something that you're interested in. I might also set up like a fantasy league for us to play, and then maybe like the grand prize be like a jersey giveaway at the end of the season or something like that. But I'll let y'all know more on that as we get closer to the season starting, which thankfully is only a week away. But yeah, you can use code CONE on Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow during my during the video, the full season predictions one. Lag. Sorry, hopefully it's not lagging too bad. The lag is going crazy. I'll give it a second for the lag to figure itself out. Brunson points higher. I feel like they're going to try to integrate Cat a lot, you know? I feel like, honestly, Brunson assists lower is something I'm looking at. 6.9 is high. Brunson assists should be higher. I feel like 6.9 is high for Brunson. Because last year he averaged 6.7, and that was with guys really injured last season. Feel really good about LaMelo for some reason. Unlimited, I kind of like LaMelo too. Yeah, 6.7 for Brunson last year. I don't know if he's going to average more. I guess Randall's playmaking's gone, but it's not like Randall played much last season anyways, you know? Jaylen Brown points higher. Stealthy Fox, I will say, I like that. I like Jaylen Brown's points higher because Porzingis is going to miss the first section of the season. He averaged 23 last year. He can get 1 point up. So I kind of like the Jaylen Brown higher as well. What was another one that I liked? Where was another one? Cade Cunningham's assists. I was a fan of that too. 7.5. Is that the number I had originally? They moved it up from 7.1 to 7.5. I feel a little bit worse about it now. Maybe not. Maybe not the Cade assists. Maybe not. Dame is a lock for sure on the points higher. What was the line? What's the number for Dame? Where was Dame? Was he down? Was he up? I lost him. I completely lost him. Here he is. 24.4. Kind of around what he averaged last season. Like 0.1 higher. I do kind of like the Dame points higher. You're telling me Dame can average 0.2 points more? And I'm a believer in the Dame bounce back. I'm a big believer in the Dame bounce back. So I kind of like that. That's interesting. I like Ja Morant's assist too. If can I just search Ja? Bet. Ja Morant's assists are 7.8. Is that? I think that's higher than the number. It's up from 7.6 to 7.8. So maybe not as much, but I feel like Ja's going to be dishing. Like Ja's had some crazy dime seasons comparatively to that. Paolo points higher. What was Paolo at? What do we got with Paolo going on? Over everything below Koulibaly. Unlimited, very niche. I love that. I'm a Bilal believer too. Paolo's at 24.4. My only worry is if we see the Franz Wagner jump, he doesn't quite get up to that point. But I do think that's very, very attainable for Paolo. I just worry about if Franz also takes that leap, you know? Because if Franz takes the leap, then we're in a bad spot. Shea and Luke, I feel very good about. I also, honestly, Jaylen Brown points, I feel very good about that too. 23.7 is not a lot for Jaylen Brown to average. It's not a lot at all. Everything GG Jackson, James, I love it. I'm with you on that. Let's go Dub to average 20. Is there Jalen Williams on here? No Jalen Williams on here. But I'm Cooper. I think Jalen Williams could average like 23. I'm biased, but I'm also very much on the Jalen Williams train. I'm with you. In all seriousness, if they have an Evan Mobley line, I would take it. There was a Mobley line. It's rebounds. It's 9.9 rebounds per game. That one was kind of interesting. I just don't know if I feel insane betting on Evan Mobley to get rebounds. Like, I don't know if I want to pick that. Gigi Jackson, how long is he out for? I think like a few weeks, if I remember right. What's his timetable? Oh, first 3 months. Sorry, not weeks, months. Jalen Brunson, 29 points per game. With Cat, though, I just don't think I see it. Like Brandon Miller. I do like Brandon Miller. Draymond Green over games suspended. Kind of fair. What do I think about Giddey MIP? I don't think he's going to get MIP. There isn't a games played requirement. I don't think there's a games played requirement. No. I think if they just get it, you're good. I don't think they have to like qualify. As far as I know, I don't believe so. What are some other ones? Ja, 26.6 points does feel low because last time we saw Ja Morant, well, he was averaging like 27, right? 26.2 and 27.4 were his last two healthy seasons. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't think Brunson's getting 29 with Cat Bridges and OG. I just feel like that's a lot for him. Stephon Castle's on your hate watch list. Why? That's a crazy person to hate watch, unless you have a valid reason. I feel under for Garland on the assists. I think Donovan Mitchell's going to become the point guard for them this season. Interesting. Also, someone said Giddey for MIP. I don't think Giddey's going to win it because I don't think the Bulls is going to be very good. And I feel like they're going to throw Giddey into a role that he's not quite ready for. And it's not going to be a bad season. He's going to put up great numbers. But I think the efficiency is going to be kind of rough. Because he went before Ron Holland. Okay, James, fair. I'll let you have that. Ja Morant's free. He gets 28. I feel like the Ja revenge season is coming. I kind of like the Ja Morant revenge narrative. Like 26.6, especially with GG out to start the season and Vince Williams dealing with injury. And, they're a very injury-prone team. I don't hate it at all. I kind of like the Ja Morant points. We do have all points now, though. But honestly, I don't hate that. I want to get to 5. How do we feel about these 4? Is there any one of these you don't like? Shea over 30.4 points, Luke over 9.4 assists, Jaylen Brown over 23.7, and higher than 26.6 points per game for Ja Morant. How do we feel about this so far? Okay, there we go. Let me zoom out a little bit. How do we feel? Any of them you hate? Those 4 are good. Luke is tough. Appreciate you. I feel pretty good about those, I think. Ja's a big risk. Dro, I don't know. I feel like the revenge season's coming for Ja. I think it's coming. I think he's going to average like 27, 28 points per game. I do think it is the weakest one out of all of them. I feel really good about the first 3, to be honest. You go games, points higher for the 5th. Luka's tough. I could see it. I've been someone saying it's going to be a crazy season for Dame, or at least a bounce back. I think Desmond will play a big role and reduce his points per game. I mean, that is fair, though. That is one thing that does worry me with Ja Morant is, like, he is a risk injury-wise to the point where, because I just saw James say in the chat, he's not a risk since no games played. But I do worry, like, what if they, manage his minutes a little bit? That is one thing I have a little bit of hesitation with. Hallie's over-under. Do we have Hallie numbers on here? We do. 10.7 assists per game is Hallie's number. 10.7. I don't know if I can bet on him to get 10.8. I mean, he had 10.9 last year and 10.4 the year before. It just betting on him to get almost 11 feels scary. Like, that's a lot of dimes. SGA 30.4 is right on the money. Not sure the value is there. I don't know. He played injured for a month last season, and he still averaged 30.1. He was averaging a pretty consistent 31.1. I think Shea's going to average like 32. I think he'll be right around that. There's a chance he drops lower because there's more talent and more mouths to feed. And, if they get in some blowout games, he could sit. But I think Shea just gets his 30 pretty consistently. And I trust enough that he's going to get a few bigger games here and there. Do need to take into account the J-Dub and Chet shots. That's right, Nick. 100%. I agree. But I feel like getting over 30.4 feels very, very doable. He's reliable. About Zion. Zion does not have numbers right now. That might change, but Zion does not have anything listed right now. Dame averaging at least 25. What do we think about the LeBron threes made per game? How many threes did LeBron average per game last season? Because he shot really, really well. And JJ Redick has been kind of pushing the LeBron, or not LeBron specifically, but like the Lakers shooting a billion threes narrative. How many threes per game was it last season for LeBron? He made 2.1, so that he just has to make 0.2 more. No problem, Joe. Like Shea's assists more than points missive. That is interesting. LeBron threes. Do we think LeBron can hit 0.2 more threes than he did last season? Do we think that's possible? That's 2 LeBron threes. Old man has to save his body. Maybe. Curry threes under for sure. I'm not betting against Steph Curry on threes. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not betting the best shooter of all time. SGA points go down. Can't expect J-Dub and Chet to significantly improve without Shea's usage going down. GTAs, that's true, but also Giddey had a lot of usage last season, and now he's gone, and Caruso is his replacement. It's Caruso and Hartenstein in the mix, and neither one of them have very much in terms of usage. Neither one of them is very high usage. So I think all 3 of those guys' usage goes up, Shea, Dub, and Chet. And I think Shea can get 30.5 at least. I think he can do it. It's 4.9 though. It is 4.8 threes per game average, but I don't think I feel comfortable betting against Steph Curry. I just don't feel comfortable with it. Simon's gonna average 24, 6, and 6. Maybe. Because Simons is at 3.5 threes per game. I don't want to bet on 4 threes. There's not a lot of talent on that roster, relatively. Clay over under 0 over 10 games. I don't think he'll do that again. I don't think so. I think Clay's going to escape the over 10 thing. Also, sorry if I'm struggling a little bit right now. I'm sick, if you couldn't tell. It seems like I get sick every time there's something big. Hi, Cone, you legend. Love your vids. Appreciate you, Brett. Appreciate it. What was Shea's minutes per game last year? Shea last year averaged exactly, I've got the stat pulled up for you. He averaged 34 minutes per game, which was down from 35.5 the year prior. So 34 minutes per game. Are you a football fan at all? So do you have a fantasy team, and how are you doing? I do have a fantasy team, and I am a football fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, which sucks. I hate it. I wish I was not a Cowboys fan. My fantasy team's doing well. I think started off 1-3, but I'm 3-3 now because guys got healthy. I had some injuries, and players were just not putting it together. They figured it out now. They figured it out. Over under 11.5 Embiid flops on the season, way over that. And I like Embiid, but definitely over 11.5 on the season. You're talking per night, then. The Lions cooked you yesterday. Yeah, I was on a bus for like 3 hours watching that game. I at some point I just went to sleep. Paolo over points. Love the show, man. Would love to hear your thoughts on how Knicks Celtics playoff series would look with everyone healthy. I take the Celtics, but I think the Knicks have one of the best opportunities to challenge the Celtics. I give it like 6 or 7 in favor of the Celtics. I think I would go. I would give it 7, just because the Knicks have the wings to slow down the Celtics a little bit. But I just feel like Boston is too much top end talent to lose in that series. It's definitely not impossible. The Knicks could win, but I would lean the Celtics. I would just trust them a little bit more. Do I think Markkanen will be traded this season? He can't be traded until after the season because of his extension. In the offseason, definitely possible, but he can't be traded this season. It's not allowed. Powell at 24.2. I don't hate it. I'm going to scroll through and see if there's any other numbers I like. If not, the jaw thing, the more I think about it, the less I kind of like the jaw thing. I think I'm worried about the jaw thing. Do I go Wemby 25 points per game? How do we feel about Wemby 25 points per game? You know what makes me mad? This number was originally like a month ago. That number was 23.7. Then they moved it up to 24.7, and now it's 24.9. They just keep moving it up and up. And I wish I'd done this stream when it was 23.7. YouTube has failed me. They were supposed to give me a notification, but not. Dakota, I apologize for that. Yeah, YouTube sucks with that because I watch a lot of people's live streams, and it like never notifies when you're looking for it. So hey, you're here now. You made it. And don't worry, anything you missed, I mean, you can go back and rewatch the stream. But also tomorrow, we're going to be discussing all of this like in depth in my season predictions video tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that too. Again, want to remind you, if you want to go for it, if you want to follow along with this, you can use code CONE on Underdog Fantasy and get a 50% first deposit match. Feel free. No pressure, of course. And I'm going to be updating y'all on this throughout the season when I'm doing like my recaps and stuff. Hopefully it's one that we hit. If it hits, I'm going to, give away a jersey or something like that. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. What are the odds for Bam Depoy? I don't think they're great because Wemby it feels like they've already put his name on the award. Giannis higher on assists. It's interesting. More reliable shooters, Dame bounce back, pick and roll is going to be massive. But I feel like that's most of the time Giannis finishing those plays, I think maybe that would lead me maybe to more Dame assists than Giannis ones. Because I worry about Giannis just was like Shaq last year. So I worry about him just once again going Shaq mode. I mean, the dimes, that number is like right around what he averaged last season, right? It's 6.4. I'm pretty sure that's like almost exactly what Giannis averaged last season, right? Yeah, 6.5. So I could see him being right around the same. But I could see a little bit of, not regression, but the number dropping a little bit. Just because if Dame's going off, then he's going to get more usage too, which worries me. I feel like the Spurs are bad. Wemby shouldn't win the Depoy. Yeah, Dakota, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's going to depend where they're at in the standings. He just might be so game-breaking that they give it to him anyways. LaMelo points. I want to go with like LaMelo points so bad. I'm so in on LaMelo and the Hornets if they can stay healthy. He averaged 23.9 last year in the 22 games that he played. And that was with, I think, a few games. Let me go ahead and look at his game log again. I believe there were a number of games where he like had not stinkers, but he just struggled because he was kind of still dealing with the injury. Yeah, his last 3 games, 18, 17, 15. I only played 23 minutes in that last game in a blowout against Houston. Ben Simmons lines. Thankfully, there's nothing Ben Simmons wise. I do like the Hornets quite a bit. I just worry about the health. Honestly, maybe even more so LaMelo. Like, how do we feel about LaMelo 8.4 assists? That's what he averaged in 2023. Last year, he averaged 8.0. But I could see a little bit more of a scoring jump. Lee Baggy, thank you so much for the $2. Lakers 4 seed. I'm claiming it. Hey, good luck to y'all. I'm a LeBron guy. I like the Lakers. So I'm here for it. They'll lose to the Thunder in the second round, but, it'll be a good first round win. LeBron 3 may be the safest bet. Honestly, the more that I'm looking at it, I do think I like the LeBron 3s. Can I put more on this? Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh. We could go for like 40 things. I think I'm going to cap it at 5. I think I'm going to cap it at 5. And I think the more I think about it, I think I'm going to take the John Morant thing out. I just worry about if they manage his minutes at all throughout the season. That scares me a little bit. So we need one more thing. Y'all. We've discussed LaMelo points. LeBron 3s is easy W. Okay, I'm with it. What rookies do they have? They have Reed Shepherd at 10 points per game and Zachary Reese-Sachet at 10.1. How confident am I on the Shea pick? I feel pretty confident on the Shea pick. I feel good about it. he's just so consistently gets 30, even if J-Dub and Chet take jumps. I think he still is a nightly 30 bomb with the potential for a few 40-point games in there. Maybe he gets a 50 at some point. It seems like he's going to start shooting more threes, which could, of course, up the ante a little bit there as well. So I feel good about it. Dame points over. Y'all are talking me into the Dame thing. Like half the comments are Dame points over. 24.3. I mean, like, he has to improve this season, right? He has to. Yeah, I'm not going to pick the rookies. I just don't trust their roles enough. Reed Shepherd, I think, could definitely clear that, but I don't know what his role is going to look like. He could also definitely get under it for same reason. The Dame thing is interesting. Do we all know who the Bucks coaches are? Fair. Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers, head coaching super team over there. They do have like Şengün. We haven't talked about Şengün at all. Fred VanVleet. For Sabonis, they have him at like 7.5 dimes and 12.9 rebounds. What was Sabonis' assist number specifically last year? It was right around that, I believe, right? 8.2. Do we think Sabonis drops 0.7 assists? Also, Sabonis averaged 13.7 rebounds. I do think DeRozan takes a little bit of those away. But Sabonis assists is kind of interesting. These were Sabonis' stats last year. 8.2 assists. Like they're expecting a pretty big drop off with DeRozan. Maybe it's more so him dishing out to DeRozan, doing some scoring. That is true though. The ball will just be more in the hands of DeRozan. I don't feel great about it, but it is something I think is a little bit interesting. Like Maxey, I don't feel great about that. Rudy over rebounds without Cat. What was Rudy's rebounds last year? What was the exact number? It was 12.9 and it's 12.5 now. Towns was averaging right around 8.3. Yep, right on that dot. And then Randall was what? Right around like 9. Thing is, Randall averages more rebounds than Cat. So Kawhi for points is I think 24.6. Yeah, 24.6. So if Kawhi's line at 24.6 for points, and it sounds like Harden's going to be doing a lot of shooting, and I don't know how his minutes are going to look, so I don't feel comfortable picking a Kawhi line necessarily. How much is Randall going to play? I think he's going to play a good bit. Maybe it's not in tandem with Gobert, but I also think Naz Reid gets more minutes, and he also grabs a lot of rebounding. So I think he takes on a large responsibility of that. Not that Naz is like the best rebounder in the world. I mean, he only averaged 5.2 last season. So the Gobert rebounding thing is a little bit interesting. I don't hate it. But I don't know if I love it enough. Man, there's nothing I'm like completely sold on in this right now. Nothing has like completely like gripped my attention. Luka over an assist is a little risky to me. I just feel like with Clay there, they're going to really try to get him involved. He averaged 9.8 last season. I think Luka could average closer to 10. I feel like Luka, especially with him being injured in the playoffs last season, I feel like he takes a bit of a step back in terms of the scoring and is just dishing out the shooters a little bit more lobs to like Lively and Daniel Gafford. I feel solid about the Luka assist. Thanks for the stream code. Hope you feel better. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. Yeah, I need to wrap up here soon because the voice is going a little bit and I got to still record and work on the full season predictions video after this. Paolo higher. Maybe. I don't know. I just worry about the Franz jump. Brunson assist. I feel like Brunson assist under is kind of interesting, honestly, more than over. I just don't feel like... I mean, maybe he'll be dishing out to guys. Embiid averaging more than 32. Maybe Noah, but I could also see him trying to take a bit of a step back and let PG and Maxey cook a bit more to save his body for the playoffs. I feel good about Embiid averaging like 33, 34. 32.1 does feel low. It just, I also, you know, are they going to manage his minutes? Is he going to play full games? I don't know. With the report that he's not going to play any back-to-backs, it worries me. Brandon Miller's points. I don't think Brandon Miller's listed right now. Might change. My absolute favorite NBA YouTuber out there. Thank you for the top content. Cone, excited for your season predictions video. Ivan, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Fox over points. Look more at role players. Yeah, there are some really good lines here. It's good, but I want to beat them. Fox over assists. Does Kyrie have a line? He has a points line. I think he has an assist line too. Oh, no, threes per game. Kim Thomas at 24.5. That's, the Nets are terrible. Yeah, Cooper, it's a high one. Yeah, Kyrie's right here. Anthony Davis, Luke, I see you mentioning. 24.5 points and 12.12 or 12.2 rebounds, 12.12 rebounds. A little specific. Is he going to get more than that, though? I don't know if AD is going to get more than that. Because the Lakers also feel like a team that could trade for a star mid-year, and I don't know about that. Cat does not have a line. Like, if the Lakers trade for a star mid-year and AD's points plummet, I'm going to feel really rough about that. Brandon Miller All-Star appearance might be in play. That would be kind of sick. I don't know if it happens quite yet, but BRG, that would be sick. I've become a big excuse me, the voice is going. A big Brandon Miller believer. What are Jokic's? Where's the big yoke? Jokic is right here. They have his numbers juiced, which I don't blame him. I mean, it's Jokic. KD over points, Steph points over. KD, I don't know. I feel like the ball is gonna be a bit more evenly distributed with Mike Budenholzer as the coach now. Steph had a crummy year, but still got 26.4 points per game. He did. But I don't know. Like, Steve Kerr just loves to let everybody cook. Lower on the Jokic's assists. I just don't know if I want to bet against Jokic diming up, Like, the best passing big man ever. Do I feel confident in betting the under in his assists? Tatum points, he averaged 27 last year and 30 the year before. I already have Jaylen Brown points, though. Excuse me. I mean, maybe we just go back to the Ja points. Do we trust the Ja Morant revenge season? Do we just go back to what we had earlier? Where is Ja? How did I lose Ja? Where did he go? There he is. Like, do we just go back to Ja Morant 26.6? I mean, let the Ja stats for reference. 25.1, 26.2, 27.4 the last 3 seasons. Like, Ja's been the safest betting historically. Yeah. Wemby over for both is solid too. Yeah, because they have Wemby's points. Maxi points over is a lock, by the way, on your life. Do I believe that? I think the Wemby over for both is solid too. Maybe I'll just leave it at these 4 for today. We get the Wemby one more time. What do y'all think about the Wemby line? 24.9. Do we think Wemby averages 25 points per game? He's at 21.4, 10.6 rebounds. They have his rebound number at 12.1, by the way. Do we think he could jump to 25? He does have Chris Paul now. I wish they had Chris Paul dimes on this. I think Chris Paul could average over 10 points per game. or over 10 assists per game. Much more impressive. Like Wemby, if I go to, let me go to Basketball Reference real quick. If we go to his last, like what? Let's do his last, was it 16 games? Let's do his last 15 games of the season. I'll do 16. What do these numbers look like? Is it going to show it to me? Is it not? I'm trying to get it set up, by the way. Am I going to do playoff predictions? Yes, Joseph, I am. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Hey, Austin, what's good? Why is this not showing me Wemby's numbers? Okay, let me do. We'll go over to StatMuse. Victor Wembanyama, points per game, last 15 games. Last 15 games that he played. He averaged 24.1. 24.1. Boy, this is going to start showing a lot of ads and stuff. Let me switch back to this. 24.1 is interesting, but I feel like there is actually GTA has kind of just put it out there perfectly. Well, he's going to have y'all broke. He's going to get like 23 points per game in Vegas. He's going to like make a lot of money due to hype. Honestly, you might be right. Pino, yeah, the stream is a little bit laggy. I think my internet's bugging for some reason. I need to get it figured out. So yeah, I apologize. It's been a little bit on and off. Sorry about that, y'all. VIX per 36 stats. Per 36, they're nuts because he only played 29.7 minutes last season. Yeah, sorry it's laggy, y'all. We're going to be wrapping up here shortly just because I'm struggling with the sickness. Per 36, when we averaged 26 last season. 26 and 13. So I'm good. Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate y'all sticking with me. Thoughts on Ryan Dunn? I'm a UVA fan. I went to UVA, so awesome to see him thriving out there in the preseason. If he's got like a real shot to him, then he was the steal of the draft. Should we restart the stream? I'm wrapping up here soon, so I won't go ahead and restart it. I think we're going to leave it with these 4 for right now, and I'm going to come up with one more. I think I need to think on it a little bit more before we finalize it, but I'm going to include this in my season predictions video tomorrow, which is going to be dropping again tomorrow. But yeah, I appreciate you tuning into the stream as always. I'm sorry it was really laggy here at the end. But yeah, I think I got a good idea of what y'all are feeling with some of my prediction stuff. I feel like I've got a good idea of some things I might want to switch around with the standings and things like that, and obviously the season-long entry. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Leave a like on the stream, subscribe, all that stuff if you're new here. Appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow with that video, and of course, a lot of stuff coming up with the season being here. I'm going to be traveling to games and stuff. Yes, Pete, I'm doing a preseason thing with the podcast with Ryan. That will be coming out towards the end of this week, hopefully, so keep an eye out for that. Or it might be Monday, like the day before the season starts next week. So it'll be within the next week. 100% we will have our combined season predictions, which should be really fun. But yeah, appreciate y'all. Take care. Peace.